Mr. Gamble, I will say that I actually met you and Leon about 20 years ago
20 years.
when Tom Cartwright from Capital EMI.
Cartwright. I remember that guy.
Right. So
He was
Tom,
with Capital, right? He was with Capital.
Capital, he was indeed. So, I did some work with Tom and I had remixed some of his records, and I had said to him, because I know at that point, he was involved with at least half of your catalog. I said, Tom, somebody really should consider remixing, Philly International greatest hits. And he said, that's a really good idea. And I would say maybe 6 months later, he said, listen, I'm flying to New York from Los Angeles, and I have to meet with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff to talk about, some stuff that's on my agenda at Capitol. Would you like to go? When he said, would you like to go?
Right.
I was speechless. You see, Mr. Gamble, your catalog, your writing is the fabric of my musical youth, and Khalif and Chuck have heard me say it, till they're sick of it. But the fact is, it's true that I grew up on your music.
Never sick of it, Brad.
Really? All right.
It's hard to be sick of the truth, man.
Well, all right. But as a practical matter, I grew up to your music. I was raised in Manhattan. WBLS was my favorite radio station. I wasn't much for the rock and roll thing. It really wasn't. It didn't attract me. But R&B records attracted me.
That was a good station for us. Frankie Crocker.
He was the chief rocker, man. He was. Yeah, and so that was the station that I listened to, and he broke a lot of records. And so in any event, we went to see you and Leon, and we had lunch with you in the conference room. You probably won't remember, but believe me, I'll never forget it. Mm-hmm. And I the first thing I said when Tom introduced me to you and Leon was, I am in the presence of greatness. Oh. And I will say this again 20 years later, Mr. Gamble. I am in the presence of greatness, that your music has changed my life. Oh, I'll be 64 tomorrow, so this is an incredible birthday gift for me to be able to talk to you.
Hey, birthday guy.
Thank you, man.
When's your birthday? When is it?
It's January 12th. I was born 1957.
That's what's the date? Khalif, the 10th, 11th is the day.
Yeah, tomorrow's his birthday. So you're giving him an early birthday present.
I'm getting an early birthday present. So when Chuck reached out to me, Chuck, maybe now probably about a year and a half ago, I would say, maybe, right?
That's a year and a half ago, yep.
Right. Well, Chuck can tell you the story about how he found me, but the short version of it is we were hired to remix Diana Ross's greatest hits. And I found Chuck through Alan Rubens in Philadelphia. And Chuck said he knew of my remix curation work. And I said I would love to have a chat with you and revisit the idea of a Philly International remix for, the future. And our conversation and our connection began about a year and a half ago. And so we, to fast forward, we've been working on Ain't No Stopping Us Now, which I thought was just the perfect anthem for 2021, and a calling card single for your 50th anniversary of the catalog. Mm-hmm. And I'm honored to have been involved. And, there were a number of...
You couldn't have picked a better song.
Well, I remember when Chuck was in my office, Chuck had said, which one do you think? I think you even said, Chuck, I can send you the catalog. I said, I already have it, because many years ago, I have the Warner Chappell Mighty 3 publishing catalog with the 4 CD inset.
Right.
So I know every song in the catalog. Yeah. And I said, I think the obvious choice for the worldwide release of the 50th anniversary is the all-inclusive Ain't No Stopping Us Now. It speaks, and this was a year and a half ago, but that obviously would speak to the 50th anniversary. Little did we know then about COVID. I think it speaks to, getting through COVID. I think it certainly speaks to, all the social issues in our world right now. I don't think you could have released or penned a stronger record that, that was 1979, I believe. 40 plus years later is Perfect.
I really appreciate you, you know, because this is like a link, you know what I mean? Every year, it's like a new link gets on there, so you're part of the link now.
Well,
And
and I'm honored. I'm not going to go on.
Makes the chain a little longer, you know, stronger.
It really does. And I think the story Chuck wants me to tell you is, so after we had lunch, I remember you came in with a jacket, a tie, and a tie bar. You were a tie bar with your tie.
Okay.
I'll remember it, vividly. And that reminded me of my grandfather, because my grandfather had this a sense of elegance, and I remember when you walked in, I said, you know what? The elegance has returned. It's just part of an era.
Right.
So we had lunch and we had a lovely chat. And I said to you, Mr. Gamble, if you could, before I go back to New York, can you please tell me one story? And you said to me, Brad, I have a lot of good stories. In fact, you didn't say good, you said good. I have a lot of good stories, And I said, I'm sure you do. I said, but can you tell me one? And you thought for a moment, you said, you know what? I have one for you. And you explained to me how the Philly International Records and the publishing catalog work, that you would assign artists to a certain writing room in your building. And Chuck Gamble had given me the tour of the building before we had lunch. And once the record was written, once the song was written, you'd record it straight away. And at the end of the day, stop me if I have the information wrong. It's 20 years later. And at the end of the day, that the songwriters would come down to your office, and I believe you sat in a throne at your desk, and they would give you these little reel-to-reels. And at the end of the day, you would listen to the music that was created either that day or the day before. Certainly the stuff that was completed as a demo. And one day, these two songwriters came down to your office and they gave you these reel-to-reels, and you listened to it. And I think Leon's office was down the hall from yours, right?
Right.
You guys would open the door and you'd listen to the song, and you listened to the song that these two songwriters had played you. And after the song was done, you looked at them and you said, yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And you said, the OJs haven't had a hit in a while. I think we're going to give it to the OJs. And I think McFadden and Whitehead, or one of them, or maybe one of them, said, so wait a second.
That's true, though.
We want to sing that song, and the rest was history, which by the way, is not the reason I chose that song for 2021 as the launch to the 50th. It's just obviously, the painfully obvious record, but, and there we are 20 years later. I'm speaking to you again, and I see your nephew again. I met Khalif several weeks ago, who is the spitting image of Mr. Kenny Gamble. And so I'm honored to be involved in any way that I can. I am a diehard fan. I'm not going to go on ad nauseum, although I probably have.
No, you haven't. That was the honest.
But I know every song in your catalog. I know the ones that were pop hits, the ones that were R&B hits, the ones that may not have been big hits either, or, but to me that there is a common thread that runs through this work.
But I didn't really know who did the remix that took Diana Ross's song "The Boss" and the remix of it. We had seen it in the charts as someone had took it up to electronic dance music and took it to number one on the charts. And then Diana Ross, on the 60th anniversary on TV, she actually performed to the remix on the 60th anniversary of Motown, I guess about 2 years ago. And I was saying, but who did that remix? And then we found out it was Brad's company, a guy named Eric. Did Eric Cooper do that?
Eric Cooper, yeah, I hired Eric
to do that. And so, but it's so impressive. And so, what was the one that Diana Ross did? Did on the 60th anniversary, your remix, Brad?
Well, actually, what we did is we did four. The first one that we did, she performed live during the American Music Awards when she received the icon of the musical icon award. She performed the up-tempo version that we did of Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And after Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the next year we did I I'm Coming Out with Upside Down. Then we did The Boss the next year in 2019. And we started 2020 with Love Hangover, and they all went to #1.
And I think some of the music that you're talking about has meaning. It has a lot of meaning to it. And then there's a lot of, when you put that them dance grooves to it, man, it's powerful, you know?
So about 2 hours ago, we released the remixes of Ain't No Stopping Us Now to the North American Billboard DJ community, the Tastemakers. It's about a list of about 1,000 people. And they start to get the organic swell and the underground swell of enthusiasm. It's a very important community because the younger generation, the late teens, the 18 to 24-year-olds and the 25 to 34-year-olds who may not know your catalog are very influenced by dance music now.
Right.
Extremely influenced. And what I had mentioned before was, before there was, there's right now also a tremendous return to the disco period.
Right.
And before disco records, the records that were played in discotheques were up-tempo R&B records.
Oh, yeah.
And those were your records.
That's
It was Teddy, it was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. It was, of course, the OJs. It was the Intruders. It was McFadden and Whitehead. It was the Jones Girls. It was, all those records. Record companies didn't produce records for disco. I mean, the one record that I believe you guys did produce for that period was Disco Lights by Dexter Wansel.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and I believe that was the one
Yeah,
record I could say of all your records that was specifically done for that period. And so the club culture community, the younger kids today, I think are going to really attach themselves to Ain't No Stopping Us Now because there's a message in the music.
Hey, look at him. You got all the stuff there. Message in the music. Hey, another.
Well, that's the OJs, right?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one too, though.
Yeah. Oh, I have a list of. You got a lot of good ones.
But the Love I Lost, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Was a moment in the studio when we were recording that, because that started out as a slow song, as a ballad, the Love I Lost, and then we were trying to get it. We almost had it, and then we said, "Hey, let's try this up tempo."
Mm.
And once we got that sock cymbal and that drum rolling, oh man, that's what it turned out. What it is today was once we got that sock cymbal and that drum and put it to that, the Love I Lost. Oh man.
Popping.
Yeah, I mean, it was really jumping. I mean, because, well, the tag on it, the group, I mean, it just had some real good group harmony parts and everything changed. The whole studio was rocking, man. We was rocking on that joker, But it's real good, man. It really is. So we're gonna listen to it or what?
Right, yeah, man, let's jump right into it, man.
Moving, moving, many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting our show together, we're polishing up our act well. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing, don't you let nothing, nothing, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want y'all to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. See, we won't let it happen no more. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. I know. We're not gonna let it happen no more. Ain't no stopping us now. We've got the groove. We got it. All aboard now. Everybody join in. Start a love train, love train. People all aboard now. Join in. Love ride. Start a love train, ride, love train. I know you know someone that has a negative vibe, and if you're trying to make it, they only push you aside. They really don't have nowhere to go. Ask them where they're going, they don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're gonna put our show together, gonna polish up our act well. And if you've ever been held down before, I know you refuse to be held down anymore. Well, don't you let nothing, nothing stand in your way. I want you to listen, listen to every word I say, every word I say, to every word I say, every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now. No, no, no. We're on the move. We're moving. Ain't no stopping us now. Yeah, yeah, I know. Moving, moving, moving. Ain't no stopping us now. Hey, we're on the move. We're not afraid. No, no, no. Say it again. Ain't no stopping us now. I swear to you, we're not afraid. Ain't no stopping us now. Oh no, no.
Dude, let me tell you something, man. I like where you're going with it. The only thing that pops in my head, you know, it just don't have to be. I'd like to hear just a little bit more of that Love Train in there. People, all
You
over.
know, I cannot believe you said that because
I just wanted to say it because it's like in the back of my head, say, hey, tell him, because I mean it's great, just the way you have it. But
Well-
if you had a little bit more of that Love Train in it, because see, Love Train, and ain't no stopping us now, is like these are that is the message in the music, you know. And we was doing something not long ago, and they were showing us about Love Train and how many airplays it's got. I mean, it's such a great record and a great song.
when
And McFadden and Whitehead, while you was playing it, I was over here because I said, wow, I said, this almost didn't happen because I remember they were saying, man, we want to do this song, man. I saw them right in my eyes, you know, when this was playing, and they were saying that they wanted to do it. And I told them, I said, you know, it's going to be bad for you because we need you as songwriters and producers and not out on the road someplace. But that was their last hit record. Ain't no stopping us now. That was it. Because I knew it once they got out there with the tours and the this, and then when they start writing songs, then they started writing songs for themselves.
of course.
They're writing songs for the Blue Notes, Harold Melvin, instead of writing songs for the OJs or they were writing for the other artists, Archie Bell. They wrote some great songs for these people, and they were part of our team. You know, gambling.
Oh, the hits that they wrote for Harold Melvin and the OJs alone, just those alone are
look,
gems.
The more I want, the more I get. You know,
Teddy.
That's McFadden and Whitehead, man.
And that was Teddy's solo act when Teddy was solo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also when
it was great, man. I mean, it's just some great memories. You know, it's just unbelievable memories.
Can I finish the call with one question?
To Mr. Gamble?
Mr. Gamble?
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Can you give me one more story?
One more story. Oh man. Now I'm really thinking. Well, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of people that was involved in this, but I would say Dee Dee Sharp, she was very instrumental in the beginning of what we were doing, and she played a tremendous role in helping to build Philly International.
And wasn't she also featured on Let's Clean Up the Ghetto?
She was on Clean Up the Ghetto,
which is another very relevant.
Yeah, it's a good one. And you know, I was just thinking about Dee Dee and the role that she played. She was like a mother to all of these artists, you know. And it's just so much of a history to this thing, you know. When I really started thinking about it in this way, it's that it's really a good thing that we're doing this, you know, because it's an emotional kind of ride trip that you're going on because
of course.
Because many of these people have passed on.
Sure.
You know, but to know these people was to love them for real. These were great talented people, and just to see them and live with them as we all grew to where we are today. You know what I mean? And them being, I mean, they're not here, but they are here. They're here to me because I can hear them laughing. I can hear them having fun. You know what I mean? So it just shows you what life is really all about.
Okay, I'm not going to keep you. I am profoundly grateful. You made my 64th birthday, Mr. Gamble. So did you, Chuck Khalif. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Keep doing good.
Hey, brother.
That's all I can say.
Hey, man. Happy birthday. Many more trips around the sun for you, brother.
God bless you all. Be well.
Likewise. Have a good night, Brad.
Thank you.
Later,
Bye, Chuck. Bye, Mr. Gamble.
Take care.
See you later, man. Take care.